Very good afternoon and a warm welcome from Emirates Old Trafford. The Vitality T20 Blast is back here as Lancashire Thunder take on Surrey Women. Of course, we should have been starting at about 1 p.m. here at Emirates Old Trafford, but we've had some pretty bad weather throughout the morning and throughout the afternoon. We are keeping our fingers crossed that it stays away now and we do get the possibility of some cricket very shortly. It looks as though the toss is happening right now. So Ellie Threlkeld and Bryony Smith have thrown the coin. Let's find out exactly what is happening. As Ellie, come on, have a quick chat with us. What's happened with the toss?
Lost the toss again, and we're going to have a bat.
You're going to have a bat, okay. So an important chance for you to hopefully try and get back on the horse as far as this competition is concerned now.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously not quite been at our best last game, so looking to put a few things right today. But
you have beaten this side a couple of times this season, so that you have that confidence that you are able to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when we play our best cricket, I'd back us to beat anyone, so that's what we'll be looking to do today.
And fingers crossed we'll see a little bit of Alana King today?
Yeah, absolutely. Making a debut at Emirates Old Trafford, and yeah, hopefully she goes well today. Great to have her with us.
How much excitement is there around her being here in this squad?
Yeah, absolutely. She her record speaks for itself. She's been great around the group already, and yeah, she's going to add a lot cricket-wise, so really excited to see how she goes.
Go well today, Ellie. Thanks very much indeed. Let's have a word with Bryony. Thanks very much for speaking to us. Hopefully we get this game on, and I think it's going to be 11 overs. Does that focus the mind a little more?
It's always tough when you've got to reduce. That's why we wanted to have a bowl. Hard to know what's a good score, but yeah, we've got a lot of batting in our team, so we're happy to chase anything really. 2
wins from 2 for you so far. Things are going pretty well.
Yeah, we've got a really strong team. We love playing T20 cricket. I know these guys beat us the other week, but we've started the comp really well and we're looking to keep going.
I'm going to say, how much have these guys been a bit of a thorn in your side so far this season?
Look, we won't think about it too much. You never know what happens in T20 cricket, so we're looking to start afresh today.
Go well today. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. So there you have it. That's the toss completed. We're just going to get the photographs completed as well as the two captains shake hand. Let's bring in Mike Perkins, who's one of the local cricket journalists who's going to be watching the game for us today. As I say, big chance for Lancashire to hopefully get back on the horse as far as this competition is concerned.
Certainly is. 11 overs aside as well. I think they'll fancy a bit of a pop at Surrey here, and they'll have a real opportunity to try and get a win on the board that may be more difficult in other circumstances. Actually getting a little warm down here, which is good, and it seems as if it's drying up nicely.
Yeah, we're keeping our fingers crossed. As I say, there's a lot of cloud around, but the ground staff have done their usual fantastic job of getting this ready for play.
Yeah, they certainly have. I think the wettest bit actually was beyond the boundary rope, so that won't come into play, and it seems to be drying out nice.
A lot of excitement about Alana King. How much should we be looking forward to what she can offer this Lancashire Thunder side?
Yeah, Ellie Threlkeld mentioned that record there, 98 international wickets across all formats. That is why she's been brought here, and we're going to get a very good look at her. I think she's one who's been not quite enjoying the coldness that we've had around Lancashire last couple of weeks, but as I say, she'll certainly be a threat with the ball.
We can't wait. Thanks very much for the moment. We'll bring you the confirmed team news in just a moment or two.
"1864. We were first class then, and we're first class now. With a dream to spread cricket through Lancashire's towns, where girls and boys, with willow and leather, become more than a badge, but the red rose together.
A club where more than legends are made, but friendships, obsessions, moments replayed on our screens, in our minds, in our hearts forever. 'Cause it's who we are, our DNA, the red rose together.
Statham, Briggs, Jimmy, Freddie and Joss, Chappie, Sir Clive Lloyd, Carol Hodges, Kate Cross. What a roll call. It's a hard one to measure, with future names still to be written on the red rose together.
We're all about people. It's what the red rose really means. Yeah, the ones signing autographs, but the ones behind the scenes.
Our community, grassroots, the ones that feel tethered. Whether you're from here or belong here, we're the red rose together.
And what about this place? Talk about world-class venues. Internationals, gigs, events. You can choose from a menu of triumph, of disaster, of pain, or pleasure.
We've seen it all at Emirates Old Trafford, with the Red Rose together.
Red ball, white ball, lightning and thunder.
Have you ever sat back? Have you ever just wondered how far we've come? The storms we've weathered, or how far we'll go as the Red rolls together.
This is the Surrey women's team. Bryony Smith, the captain. Danny Wyatt-Hodge. Kira Chatley. Grace Harris. Paige Schofield. Phoebe Franklin. Callia Moore. Emma Jones. Tilly Courtney Coleman. Danny my apologies. I will get that confirmed for you as soon as we possibly can. However, the Lancashire Thunder team is as follows. Tilly Kestevan, Seren Smale, Fee Morris, Captain Ellie Threlkeld, Ailsa Lister, Danielle Collins, Alana King, Tara Norris, Darcy Carter, Grace Johnson and Sophie Morris. No. So confirmed team news in, and as expected, another strong Lancashire side, and as we mentioned, the fact that we have got Alana King in that side, we're really looking forward to it. That's got to be one of the outstanding signings of the summer for women's cricket in the UK, not only for Lancashire Thunder but for the whole of the competition, hasn't it?
Yeah, she was the star of the Ashes this winter. Good to see her in the side, given we've given her the big build-up, and it's really going to be interesting to see how she gets going today and whether she manages to get a bit of turn out of this Old Trafford pitch. The weather conditions perhaps not in her favour, but it is a pitch that can turn, particularly in these T20 games. 29
years of age, 98 wickets across all formats in Australia. She also took a hat-trick for the Trent Rockets in the 100, so it's clear that she enjoys playing in this country as well.
Yeah, she knows her way around all the franchises, but she's got that experience in the 100. She'll know what she'll want to do with the ball in English conditions.
One change that we knew was probably a likelihood. We're not going to be seeing Sophie Eccleston for a little while, unfortunately, because she's picked up a quad injury. She needs to take a little bit of a rest from all cricket, and sensible for her to be able to do that, to make sure that she's 100% ready for this.
Yeah, she's been struggling all summer. We saw her down at Edgbaston, was her first game of the season, and she was clearly trying to battle through it there. Doesn't feel that she's quite at 100% yet, and knowing Sophie Eccleston, that's exactly where she'll want to be, so she's just going to take a bit more time to try and recoup by the sound of things.
As for Surrey, as we know, Lancashire have got a couple of victories over them already this season, so they know there is the possibility they'll be able to get one here this afternoon.
Yeah, great win in the 50 over competition at Southport. That was one that they'd really enjoyed, chasing down a big total on that day. So whatever they end up setting here, they'll be, I think, confident of trying to do the reverse trick, if you like, and trying to defend it. They'll want to get a big score on the board, and that might be what played into Bryony Smith's decision at the toss, that she didn't want to see runs chased down again as we did earlier in the season.
Obviously, one cup in the trophy already this season for Lancashire Thunder with that T20 County Cup, which is fantastic. So how much belief do you think that is starting to instill in some of these players, that they can go on and do better and get even more trophies in the near future?
Yeah, I've seen it's nestled up there in the commentary box with us, the County Cup. It was a new competition, a nice idea really to have a knockout format T20 before coming into this Blast competition, which is the main one of the season. And Lancashire will be looking to replicate that form. They've maybe fallen off it a little bit in the last couple of matches, but they will know in a one-off game they can beat anyone. And as I say, in an 11 over a side contest, they'll be very confident indeed today.
Well, keep an eye on it, keep it safe, don't break it. Keep it nice and polished and shiny. Yeah, it's been an incredible few weeks as far as the Lancashire Thunder team are concerned. And with that in mind, we've got a nice interview here for you with David Thorley, the Lancashire Director of Women's Cricket. He's been speaking to Scott Reed.
Right, we're still waiting for play to start here at Emirates Old Trafford. The pitch covers are coming off, but the forecast for the rest of the afternoon is a little bit patchy, I think, just to be the most optimistic I can be, but fingers crossed we'll get some play. Let's chat about what has been so far an outstanding start to the season for Lancashire women, for Lancashire Thunder. It's been a brilliant way to start the campaign. David, you must be absolutely thrilled.
Definitely, yeah. I think really happy with the consistency that the players as a whole are showing right now. So the camp's in a really good place. There's been a few of us who've been in this journey for the last few years, and seeing it evolve year on year to a place where there's sustained performances now is really exciting. So you know, there's a lot of credit obviously needs to go to the players for a lot of work in the indoor centre. It's dark, cold nights kind of working there, and the coaching staff as well. So obviously Chris Reed as head coach, but Stephen Perry, Kyle Hogg, Clinton Perrin, all done fantastic work with them. But yeah, really excited, and particularly that it's across two formats with 50 over and T20 as well.
From your point of view, having seen the results and the performances this season, and you contrast it to some of the difficult times from 2 or 3 seasons ago, does it feel like the work that was done then, kind of that groundwork, yes, it didn't produce results then, but we're now seeing the benefit of it now?
I think you're spot on with that. When we started in 2020, we knew there was a lot of work that was needed. It was a project, and when we brought Paul Shaw in for that summer, initially on a short-term deal, he echoed that of this is going to take time, but there's a lot of exciting potential there, and that's what hooked us all in really of where this could go to. It's a huge club, but at the time when we first started, a lot of the teams, particularly in the south of the country, were ahead of us. They had deeper squads, more talent ultimately, but we knew that there was a lot of work that needed to go into these players. And then we're seeing players who've had years of work now starting to excel and shine, and that's a really exciting bit for us, that yes, you need to bring in some quality. So every year you do look at all the gaps we can bring in, and you see people come in like recently Eve Jones and Grace Potts, but before them Tara Norris, for example, and Naomi Ditani. So you're topping up that squad, but the exciting thing is those homegrown players where you can keep building and investing in them. And again, as I said before, the long cold winters sometimes do reap dividends.
How is it the change to the tier 1 and then obviously tier 2 and 3, and having the 8 fully professional sides in tier 1 compared to the regional format? Just give us a little insight to how that has affected and impacted the domestic women's game.
So from our point of view, there's probably been very little change. It's felt like a Lancashire team and squad from very early on. It just felt like Lancashire has a men's team and a women's team. So I think we were really clear we didn't want the players to feel much of an impact, and I think for them they felt the transition was really smooth. It just became, this is a new competition. So we felt little change internally. Rest of the country, yeah, I think there is some volatility that's probably been felt with changes, and some of it's behind the scenes where you hope players don't feel it, but you obviously got to look at coaching staff, medical staff, all the support around the teams, looking at training facilities. So I know a couple have found that a challenge, which is natural. We did back in 2020, whereas now it's simply when we want to train at Emirates Old Trafford, we book in times, as do the men's team. So we're quite fortunate there hasn't been much of a change. But I'm sure that's not always the case elsewhere, but it's a bright future for all the teams, no doubt, anyway.
Do you feel it's slightly more competitive across the 8 teams? For example, the other day when Hampshire were here, when they were the Southern Vipers, they were the dominant side in the country and probably considerably in front of everybody else. Does it feel to you as though, with the kind of slightly more redistribution of players, player movement, that type of thing, that it's a more competitive tier, do you think?
I think so, and I think you're seeing it in the Blast right now with teams towards the top like Warwickshire as well. But there's I think the last couple of years of the regional structure maybe were slightly predictable of the stronger teams, and I think Hampshire Vipers been incredibly successful, very well run. They had an envious amount of talent. I think their depth was fantastic, and I think for a couple of summers in a row they lost players who were squad players, probably not getting the amount of game time they wanted, but they kept winning. So I think that's testament to a lot of work that Charlotte Edwards and Adam Carty did down at Southern Vipers, and I think that's something we really wanted, is that depth. And again, we're fortunate to have a large volume of player contracts. So Tilly Stephen recently has got a short-term contract, so we're now on 19 professional players this summer, as well as England players and overseas. So really, really good place. But across the country, I think there has been player movement the summer just gone, or winter just gone. And I think across the country now, you know you've got a tough game no matter who you've got. And even Durham, who are the newest team, they've got a great squad. So I think they've built something really good there. And for all of us, though, I think the important part is depth now. So as we found recently, you lose Emma Lamb to England or Eve Jones to an injury, you need players to be able to come in, and it doesn't destabilise you massively.
You mentioned player recruitment there, and just to concentrate here on Thunder, on recruitment, and as ever with recruitment, you need an element of good fortune. Things need to work. Sometimes player signings work, sometimes they don't. They're clearly working at the minute. How pleased are you with that and the way that the players have settled in?
Really happy. I think there's a lot of work done by myself, Chris Reed, the analysts, the other coaches around the gaps we felt we needed to address. And we do look at short-term, medium-term and long-term signings as well. And we feel the three players who were brought in really addressed that, with Eve Jones, Grace Potts and Darcy Carter all in different stages of their career. But they adapted really, really well, came straight in, the group made them feel welcome, and we're excited about the performances so far. So obviously Eve hasn't played the last few weeks, and we have felt that, but she's felt like part of the furniture. Like she's just someone we can lean on, supports Ellie as captain as well, really, really well. And then someone like Grace, who's obviously on England's radar as well, and coming through, we're seeing those performances improve as the season progresses. Darcy obviously played the last match as well, so excited about Darcy's future at the club. But for us, we look at obviously the skill sets and the gaps that we felt we needed to address, but the people. So that's something really important to myself and Chris Reed around, can they fit into that group? What are they going to add? And we don't want them to be taking anything away from a group as well. So the culture and feel of the group is so important now, and we feel it's in the best place it's ever been.
One of the rising stars of the women's game at the very top level is Alana King. How do you manage to sign Alana King? Because I suspect she'd been quite sought after.
Definitely, very sought after. I think after that Ashes series as well, which is painful to watch, but then exciting when we started coming through. I think you mentioned that word luck earlier as well, and sometimes overseas signings are luck. It's conversations with agents, looking at schedules. You need a very flexible governing body as well if Cricket Australia allow that player to come over. So for us, it was identifying that gaps, and we wanted someone who can bat and bowl, and again, one of the world's best bowlers there. But again, important that they can contribute to our team, so we've got that good balance, particularly in the T20s. So we're excited about bringing her in, but conversations were really positive from the start. I think looking at the role she'd play in the team, I think she loved that fact at playing at an iconic ground like Emirates Old Trafford, at a big club, and we were really pleased. Chris Reed's relationship with her as well helped from working with her at Trent Rockets, but the conversations were really positive from the start, and I think just knowing that she's going to have an impact, and we're excited, and hopefully we get going today with her.
There's a lot said about recruitment and overseas signings, and obviously so far all those things have worked, but I know the cricket club, both the men's and the women's side, are very, very keen on developing players. It's a fundamental part of a cricket club, isn't it?
Yep.
How pleased are you with the progression of your younger players, and indeed what's behind this current lot as well. Just give us a little insight to that.
Yeah, so that was probably one of the first focuses. We knew the first team had to get stronger. So just to rewind to 2020 again, our first squad we selected, there was 15 and 16-year-olds in there, and that wasn't a healthy sign for me. So talented players, and some of them are still in the squad now, which is great. But for me, at that age, unless you are particularly talented, you should still be in an academy setting where you're learning the ropes, you're playing games in a safer environment where perhaps less pressure as well. So for us, it was looking at strengthening that pathway. And it started with staff. So Chris Chambers started a lot of work a few years ago for us in the pathway, getting structures and processes in place where players are getting regular quality time with good coaches. So that was really positive to get a bit of a better setup, frankly. We've brought more and more people in, so Stuart Davison heads up the academy now, and Graham Dodds works in the pathway, along with a few other very, very good sessional coaches as well. And you started seeing the performances improve across the pathway. And it's not all about performance at that level, ultimately they're trying to learn their trade. But then last year we saw our under-18s become double national champions, which was really exciting, and I think it showed the amount of work that had gone on these past few years. And now we're in a place where there's talent knocking on the door, which is where you need to get to. You need to be able to, if there's a contract which is available this coming winter, you got to look at the academy. And really pleasing to see in finals day of the T20 Cup where Tilly Stephen was brought in the week before, and not only looked comfortable but performed. To get player of the match in the final is incredible, and we've known that her trajectory is coming towards the first team. But then it was perhaps slightly accelerated with Eve Jones' injury. But then to see her perform is so exciting for us. And we've got 2 or 3 more who are putting pressure on us. And that's where we need to be. There needs to be a bottleneck of talent, and then you have to address it as a club. So really excited how that's progressed. But again, a lot of testament, a lot of pride in how the staff have worked in that pathway as well.
I find it quite interesting, that side of it, because signing players and recruiting players is exciting. It's because you're bringing new faces in.
Yep.
Overseas in particular can grab headlines and attract people to come and watch. But the balance between doing that and also allowing space in your squad for young players, is that just a little insight to that balance and how you find that?
I think it's really important that as an academy squad, they can see their peers progress into the first team. And we've been very fortunate that it's worked for the last few years, where you've had Sarah Smale come in, Sophie Morris, now Tilly Stephen, where homegrown players have worked hard, begun to excel in influence games on a regular basis at the academy level, and then they've got a contract and become a professional player, which is what they all want. And I think if you've got a bit of a ceiling where there's no one making it, it can be quite depressing for them perhaps not to see those opportunities there. And as a club, we want to see, we know the North West is a hotbed of talent, and we're fortunate that Cheshire's got a great league, the Lancashire league's strong as well. There's players from Cumbria as well coming in. So for us, we need to be able to offer them opportunities, as long as they're good enough, of course, obviously, as well. But there are players coming through. Again, Venus Wirapulli's making headlines in the academy and took a 6 for the other day again. So we know that we need to be able to offer players opportunity. And that's a challenging bit of managing a squad when, if you've only got a limited number of contracts, as I said, we're fortunate to have the most in the country, there still needs to be gaps created to allow players to come through. So that's the challenging part sometimes. But it's a place we wanted to get to a few years ago, which is a world of men's cricket, ultimately, of players don't have contracts forever, and the hot new talent coming through will take that contract.
And you mentioned kind of the world of men's cricket, the full kind of alignment that we have now. You've got the T20 Women's County Cup next year, which is an extra kind of competition. We'll touch on finals day in a minute. But the fact that the one-day cup, the 50-over competition, the Vitality Blast, the fact that everything seems to be aligned. You got the 8 teams in the first tier all aligned to their men's counties. Is that a healthy place to be now, do you think, that there's kind of a real clear story of the cricketing season, both men's and women's domestically?
I think so. I think the ECB have done a good job sort of pulling it into line and evolving into a next step. And again, this term Darwin project into evolution, it did make sense of what's next. And I think it's nice and neat for everyone to understand now. And there's still some anomalies from the game. And the example people mention will be the Blaze, for example, in the name. there's reasons behind that, but I think it's in a really good place now as a product. So the quality's better. You could turn up to any Blast match and you know it'll be a good game. And I think there's going to be more and more commercial interest growing into the game as well, which will help all of the clubs grow even further. But it really feels like the clubs own these teams now. And I think we're looking at the facilities around the country, the investment is significant. It's clear from VCB fund a large portion of it, but every team needs to find a significant sum of money to just make it run from day one. So we're fortunate we had some commercial partners in Hilton and Sports Breaks as well who've enabled us to do overseas tours, sign additional players as well, and really support the academy and pathway. Not everyone has that, and we are very fortunate with those partners, but every team has to invest a significant sum of money just to start.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of your role, David, as Director of Cricket, but it's a regional role, I think, isn't it? So are you more than just kind of...
It's evolved, well, again, evolution term, yeah.
Yes.
So it began as regional,
right?
But now with the Tier 1 structure, it's predominantly focused on Lancashire. So I'd say at the top in first 11 level, the senior squad, it is very much Lancashire, but then the academy is still regional.
Right.
So that's not the Lancashire Thunder Academy, that's the Thunder Academy, so encompassing the northwest counties of Lancashire, Cheshire and Cumbria. So I think that's important that players from those areas know that this is the pathway through. And I think it was exciting, just that example I mentioned before of Tilika Stephen, someone coming from Cheshire, knowing that they've got a really strong league and they can progress through. And we're trying to strengthen the league in Lancashire as well. So the Thunder Cup was recently launched, of creating 8 super teams effectively, playing throughout the summer. There's players from the academy and first team allocated to those teams, and the final will be held here at Emirates Old Trafford in September as well. So really good to kind of get those leagues stronger and stronger, and we can scout at them on a regular basis.
And obviously your first trophy of the summer as well, the team's first trophy of the summer, which is next year there. How special was that Monday in Taunton?
It felt a long day, but it was...
they do, don't they, finals days? Yeah. Especially with the rain around.
Oh, that's it. It was... it was a massive moment for us as a team. I think for the club as well. Seeing both Mark Chilton and Daniel Gidney there, everyone's so proud of the players. So it was, I think, one of those where Ellie Frelkeld's been here from the start of his KSL days, but also when we began the journey into professionalisation. And it's felt a long time coming, but it's felt like we've gone from ambitions of trying to be competitive in games and start challenging more and more to then being in contention to winning trophies through sustained performance in every game. And it was a really pleasing event. It was there's a lot of challenges in the T20 Cup in terms of logistics and who you're playing next, but to get to finals day and perform against Blaze and Surrey, 2 of the stronger teams in the country, was so pleasing. I think pride was the overwhelming feel from all of the staff there of seeing everyone perform and not just leaning on maybe 1 or 2 players. We've been fortunate throughout the season. There's probably been some real strong performances so far, but across that day everyone stepped up in different ways. So it was really exciting. It just felt a massive moment for the club that we can beat anyone on our day, and hopefully now it's sustained, challenging for silverware on a sustained basis ultimately.
Yeah, I guess that's the long-term aim, isn't it? So we've talked a lot about player development, which is a big part of it, but also you want something to show at the end of it too, don't you?
That's it. It's ultimately we're a very, very big cricket club here, and we do want success. And success is an outcome of everything you do behind the scenes, all the work that's put in, your squad, your performances. But you do want to be at the pointy end of the season ultimately. And if you get to a finals day, it doesn't always go your way. Things can happen on the day, and rain-affected days are challenging as well. And it was good to see us come out on the positive side of that. But I think we want to be in contention in every silverware that's available, basically, and that's finals day, semi-finals of the one-day cup, and that's where we want to be. And I think that's where players learn. And if we win, if we lose, they learn massively, and you know that right next time we're going to win that.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for your time, David. Fingers crossed we get some cricket today, and hopefully maybe even another trophy this season, just to cap off a good year so far.
Thanks for that, Scott.
As we welcome our listeners on Lancs TV and viewers across Lancs TV to the start of the Vitality T20 Blast fixture between Lancashire Thunder and Surrey Women. Say T20 Blast, it's T11 we're going for today.
Indeed.
But at least it's some cricket. Scott Reed and Faith Florence up in the commentary box, and Mike Perkins with us as well. And Lancashire Thunder are batting first. Tilly Kesteven is on strike. And Kayla Moore will open up the bowling for Surrey. And, oh, that's a stumping first ball. Yeah, Kesteven coming down the pitch. And a swing and a miss. And stumped by the keeper. And Kesteven has to depart. So we've waited a while for some cricket, but a pretty dramatic start.
Absolutely. I mean, gosh, I think that, well, certainly Surrey looked like they had a certain plan, having Kalia Moore opening the bowling with her off-spin, not necessarily what you would expect, but very fast stumping there, and fantastic start for Surrey.
Yeah, a bit of grip and turn as well for the spinner. This is a pitch that's been used quite a few times already this season in T20 cricket, so expect a little bit of turn here. That pitches and spins away from Kesteven. Nice to take by the keeper, and good work behind the stump. So a wicket with the first ball of the match, and Tilly Kesteven has been stumped off the bowling of Moore. So,
yeah, so Lancashire having lost their hero of the finals, the T20 Cup final, will have to really be focused now on the top of the game and just be aware of the conditions and what the pitch is, how it's responding to Kalia Moore's off-spin now.
So it's Fee Morris, the new batter, in and bowls. That's off the front foot and pushed away towards the offside, and there is no run. So yeah, busy old start. And I said, you barely have time in T20 cricket to rebuild, let alone 11 overs. As Morris, off the back foot, punches one a little uppishly, but safe enough up towards mid-on for a single.
Indeed, and these so now the batting with Seren Smale and Fee Morris, they'll just have to shake that off a little bit, clear their heads, and really get stuck into this game. Like you say, just 11 overs. Both these players can score rapidly. Tilly Kesteven, a very quick scorer. Now she's gone.
Here comes Moore to Smale in and balls off the back foot. Oh, that's a good shot. That'll be 4 for Smale. Off the back foot, hammered away through extra cover for 4. That kind of gets Lancashire Thunder going a bit.
Indeed, absolutely. I was going to say, you know, Sarah Smale more than capable of really taking it to the opposing side, scoring quickly. She hits a really big ball. Beautiful drive through the covers there. And that first boundary for Lancashire, they'll feel a lot better now.
Yeah, it's kind of a new look T20 opening partnership, because Katie Mack, who's been opening the batting, no longer with Lancashire Thunder, so Seren Smale gets a chance at the top for the first time this summer in this format. That's pushed away through mid-on for a single. Moves on to 5, so 6 for 1. 1 ball left of the first over brings Fee Morris on strike. Got 2 fielders outside the fielding circle. Have Surrey had it long on and deep mid-wicket. Good first over this by Moore. Wicket from the first ball. Just the 1 boundary conceded in to complete the over. And carefully worked to the leg side by Fee Morris for no run. Well, a lively start. It started with a wicket, ends with a dot ball, and there's a 4 in the middle of it.
Yeah, very lively start. As you'd expect, the players have been waiting a long time today to get out there and get a bit of cricket going. So a really exciting start to this T20 game so far.
Yeah, I suspect there'll be a little bit of something in this pitch for the spinners on both sides.
Indeed. I mean, that ball that got Tilly Kesteven, like you say, that grip and turn, there'll be a lot of bowlers, off-spin bowlers, who will be excited, and leg spin, of course, to see the turn on offer on the pitch. Now it's the turn of Rhianna McDonald-Gay.
Yeah, spin from one end and a little bit of pace from this Brian Statham end.
Indeed.
Smale on strike on 5. So 6 for 1, 1 over gone. If we got outside the fielding circle, 2 fielders out on the boundary, deep square leg and deep point. So there's a ring of fielders on the offside, 4 of them on the offside, and then 3 inside the circle on the leg side. That's a full delivery, but little leg stumpy and helped on its way by Smale. Just glanced down to find leg for 4 runs. 10 for 1.
Yeah, a bit of a loosener there for Rhianna McDonald-Gay. With just 11 overs in per side, she won't have many chances to get her eye in, so if she can get away with just one there, I think she'll be allowed by her team and her skipper before they might have a little chat. But yeah, needs to get her line right.
Yeah, margin for error in this format reduced even further with 11 overs. That's a nice delivery. It's an LBW shout, and she's got it as well. Smale departs. Well, Faith, you call for a better line from McDonald Gay, and she delivers it. LBW, Smale out for 9, 10 for 2.
Indeed, doesn't get much better than that. What an adjustment there, and what a comeback by Rihanna McDonald Gay. Of course, a quality bowler, has been in around the England side, and yep, that's Seren Smale, who was going well for Lancashire. Certainly had the right attitude as she punches her bat there as she has to trudge off back to the dugout. Bit of a blow there for Lancashire, but very, very good start by Surrey.
10 for 2. And Smale pinned LBW. Yeah, good response. Arrowed in towards the pads. Umpire liked it. Finger went up. Smale has to depart, and Lancashire Thunder lose a couple of early wickets here.
Yeah, and very quickly, it's the skipper, Ellie Threlkeld, who is out in the middle, perhaps a lot sooner than she thought she might be. But still a very good sign for Lancashire, because she has been a real kind of stalwart, a mainstay, settled the side. We've been in tricky situations before, Lancashire have, and it's Ellie Threlkeld who's come out to the middle and settle things down for the team. You know, she'll be able to assess conditions, keep a calm, cool head, and just try and get her team back towards scoring runs now.
Yeah, skipper's out in the middle. Here's McDonald Gay for Surrey. Over the wicket, balls to Threlkeld. Again, angled in towards her. Worked out towards the onside, and there is no run. With the game being reduced from 20 overs to 11 overs, we have the exciting development of a power play that lasts 3.2 overs. See, I get excited by these things. I know I'm pretty sad. I need to get out a bit more, but I love a 3.2 over power play.
Oh, I'm with you.
Make the most of those 2 extra bowls in the 4th over. McDonald in bowls. It's a full delivery just outside off stump. Driven away by Threlkeld off a thickish edge down towards 3rd. For a single. 11 for 2. Don't ask me about how many bowlers can bowl what. Not got a clue about that.
No.
That's just that's something of myth and magic, is that now? That's umpire's discretion.
Indeed, indeed, and the batters looked like there might be a second run on from that last delivery. Both hesitated a little bit, and in the end there wasn't, but if they can get any runs, pinch any extra runs, they're going to really want to keep on top of that.
11 for 2 in the 2nd over. Fee Morris back on strike. Here's McDonald Gay over the wicket in and balls. Foolish delivery, which is defended in the end by Morris, just jabbed up towards mid-on. And there is no run. These two sides have had a contrasting start. Lancashire have played 1 game more than Surrey. Surrey have played 2 and won 2. And they have 9 points and are currently 3rd in the group stage. Lancashire Thunder have played 3 games. They've won 1 and they've lost 2. Both games here, actually. There's McDonald Gay bowls to Morris. That's worked to the leg side through mid-wicket. Morris doubles the score. In fact, we'll come back for 2 by the time that Bryony Smith stops the ball and flicks it in. Morris adds a couple to her score, so she moves on to 3. That's 13 for 2. That's 2 overs gone of the 11. So yeah, contrasting start. Good start by Surrey in the competition. Slightly indifferent from Lancashire Thunder.
Yeah, and I think Lancashire Thunder have been struggling at home a little bit. As you mentioned, the 2 defeats came here at home. One was a really close game last Saturday. And then they went away, played Durham and beat them fairly comfortably, so they might have felt okay. Fortunes have changed a little bit. They're back to winning ways. But then defeated by Hampshire quite heavily on Wednesday. And the very next day, Surrey went on to thrash Hampshire almost. So they'll be looking to once again reverse their fortune, Lancashire, today, and finally get a win on the board at home in this competition.
See some more spin from the Anderson end as Threlkeld drives through straight mid-on up towards the fielder for a single. Courtine Coleman coming in. Tilly Courtine Coleman from the Anderson end. Threlkeld moves on to 2, 14 for 2. Yeah, it's odd how they've. I mean, the game at Durham was a good game of cricket. I thought Lancashire Thunder played pretty well. They lost here against the Blaze, and then Hampshire. They've been a bit shaky at home early on in the competition. That's cleared mid-off. That's a lovely shot by Fee Morris down the pitch, up and over mid-off. Won't quite reach the boundary rope. Morris comes back for 2 though. Moves on to 5. And the score moves on to 16 for 2. Inside the 3rd over. So yeah, early stages. Top 3 qualify for finals day. Winner straight to the final, and it's 2nd against 3rd in the semi. There's Morris looking to wallop the ball away. It's gone past the keeper, down towards the boundary. What's on this? Nothing. Buys. Just a buy.
Yeah, that seemed to beat everybody. I think maybe a little bit of an awkward bounce, and keeper wasn't able to keep up with that one. But the outfielder being a little bit wet, is not very quick this afternoon.
17 for 2, halfway through the 3rd over. It's cut away by Threlkeld out through point. And they'll come shuffling back for a couple. Tumbling stop out on the boundary rope. And 2 more for Threlkeld. She moves on to 4, so 19 for 2. It's a real scramble, this, isn't it? I mean, goodness knows how you, as a batting side, you think about what might be a good score from 11 overs. I have no idea. Again, driven away by Threlkeld, stopped inside the circle. No run.
Indeed, and that's you know, partly why it's such a good toss to win for Surrey and bowl first, because yeah, they'll know exactly what they need to chase.
19 for 2, 1 ball left of the 3rd. That's swept by Threlkeld. A thin little bottom edge down towards short fine. Good tumbling stop inside the circle by Danny Gregory. But they have gone through for 1. Threlkeld keeps the strike as well. So 3 overs gone, 20 for 2. There's been some patient supporters waiting inside the ground. All wrapped up in their winter jackets by the looks of things. But they've been rewarded, their patience rewarded with some cricket. And hopefully an uninterrupted afternoon of cricket now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's really great to see the Lancashire faithful out there in the stands, and maybe 1 or 2 travelling supporters as well. It's definitely a chilly afternoon now, but at least the rain has stopped, and you can see some smiles on faces out there in the crowd. It's really great to see.
Ground staff have done a good job. Always a happy bunch as well. Well, they've done a great job to get us underway at 3:15. Right, we've got 2 balls left of the power play. I'm very excited by a 3.2 over power play. So they've got 2 balls here for Threlkeld to try and make the most of these fielding restrictions. And I'm going to see Danny Gregory for the first time this afternoon. So 20 for 2 as we start the 4th over. Threlkeld on 5. Here comes Gregory in and bowls. Hammered back down the ground past Gregory. That's 4 actually for Threlkeld. So super start to the 4th over. Clubbed firmly back down the ground.
Fantastic shot. Yeah, that was right in the arc for Ellie Threlkeld to hit, and she hit it very firmly.
1 ball left of the fielding restrictions. Threlkeld to 9, 24 for 2. Here comes Gregory in and bowls. Well, yeah, a bit of extra bounce there for Gregory, bowling pretty quickly here to Threlkeld. And that is the end of the power play. Mid-over.
So what do you think, Scott? Who do you think got the best of that power play?
I love that. I don't know. I've no idea after 11 overs. A 3.2 over power play and 24 for 2. And Gregory in and bowls. And Threlkeld tried to fiddle it away towards the leg side. But no bat on it. Leg by. 25 for 2. I don't know, 24 for 2 after 3.2. Is that a good power play? I don't know.
I know, it's impossible to say, but 2 wickets down, I think Surrey will be fairly happy with that.
You're probably right, yeah. Morris on strike. Gregory in and balls. Coming forward, it's Fee Morris trying to work it to the leg side. And there's no run. So they've got the 3 fielders now pushed out on the boundary on the leg side, and 1 on the offside. So a deep point, deep square leg, deep mid-wicket, long on. 25 for 2. We're in the 4th over of this Thunder innings. Danny Gregory in and bowling and shuffling forward is Fee Morris and driving nicely through extra cover for 4 runs. Welcome boundary again for Lancashire Thunder. Move on to 29 for 2. Morris moves on to 9 with 1 ball remaining of the 4th over. Bright and breezy from Fee Morris, but it has to be from both these two batters. They're going to make the most of every delivery here in this shortened format.
Absolutely, and you know, it does seem like Ellie Threlkeld has just settled, allowing these two batters to get in, settled things for Lancashire a bit.
29 for 2. 1 ball left of the 4th. Gregory ball swept by Morris out towards deep backward square leg and swept beautifully. Lovely shot. 4 more. 1 driven through cover, 1 swept behind square. Excellent from Morris. 33 for 2 now.
Yeah, really nice timing and placement on that shot there from Fee Morris. Even with this slightly slower outfield today that's been sitting under the rain, there was no way that the fielder was going to catch up with that one. So another boundary for Lancashire, scoring nicely now.
Yes, they are. 4 overs gone. 33 for 2. Fee Morris on 13. Ellie Threlkeld on 9. Ailsa Lister, Danny Collins, Alana King, Darcy Carter, Tara Norris, Grace Johnson, Sophie Morris, the rest of the Lancashire Thunder lineup. And we know what Ailsa Lister can do. We've seen her now with the bat in the last couple of games.
Absolutely. I mean, with a shortened game like this, these two batters will want to take this all the way. But, you know, there's a fine balance between kind of cherishing your wicket, but also you've got to go quite hard and get the maximum amount of runs that you can in such a short space of time. But as you say, Thunder have got some strong batting still to come if one of these two are to perish.
Franklin, it will be from the Anderson end. Phoebe Franklin in and bowls the Threlkeld, driven beyond the reach of mid-off. Will it reach the rope at long off? No, I think it's pushed away from the boundary. The run 3. The Threlkeld does squeeze 3 out of that, but nice work by McDonald Gay on the boundary. Put the slide in, flicks the ball back, I think.
Ooh. Might want to have a little look at that one.
Yeah, I think that might be 4, but they've not got the TV umpire here. But yeah, I think maybe she pushed that away. Maybe just part of her body was touching the rope. It was a very good effort. She wouldn't have known for certain either way. 3 has been added to the total. 36 for 2. Franklin in and bowls, and Fee Morris in an effort to try and scoop it over the keeper's shoulder. Down towards the boundary, plays and misses, and through to the keeper, no run. 36 for 2. We're in the 5th. Fee Morris on 13. Here comes Phoebe Franklin from the Anderson end for Surrey. Put Lancashire Thunder into bat. In and bowls, driven away by Morris through extra cover. And it's good work out on the boundary by Danny Wyatt-Hodge. Morris comes back for 2 more. Moves on to 15, not out. 38 for 2. Halfway through the 5th over. Live across BBC Radio Lancashire. We're online with BBC Sport website and app. Lancs TV as well here from Emirates Old Trafford for this Vitality T20 Blast fixture between Lancashire Thunder and Surrey Women. Thunder batting first. 38 for 2 in the 5th. That's driven by Morris towards mid-off, and they scamper through for a quick single. Shy at the stumps at the bowler's end. Safely through for 1.
Yeah, good running. Good running. And actually, as you were saying, you get excited about 3.2 power plays. The thing I quite like is when batters can run 3. Running 3s, that's so rare.
We love an old run 3.
Absolutely.
2 balls left of the 5th. Threlkeld on strike, 12 from 10. Here comes Phoebe Franklin. In and balls, nudged away to the leg side. Now they've gone scampering through the 1st. They'll think about 2, but no, can't come back for the 2nd. Paige Schofield coming up from the deep mid-wicket boundary, right up towards the edge of the fielding circle to deny the chance of a 2nd for Thunder. 40 for 2, 1 ball left for the 5th. Brings Fee Morris back on strike. 16 not out. Franklin in and bowls. Again, Morris looking to scoop it and does so. This time gets it spot on down towards the boundary. Excellent shot by Fee Morris. She's managed to engineer a way to find the ropes.
Yep, excellent. The first time she attempted that shot, she didn't have any joy. This time got into position early and struck it very well for another boundary. And these two now going very well. 44 for 2 after 5 overs.
Yep, nice work by Morris and by Threlkeld. We're down to 11 overs per side, so 6 more overs for Lancashire Thunder to try and get a total that they think is defendable. I'm not quite sure how they managed to work out what they think could be defendable on this shortened format, but we shall see. There's the effort from McDonald Gay to try and prevent the boundary. I'm not sure if she did it, but either way, 3 runs was added previously. I'll leave you, Faith, and Mike will come and join you.
It's Grace Harris now with ball in hand at the Brian Statham end. And she's bowling to Ellie Threlkeld, who just knocks that into the leg side. They'll scamper through into the offside, scamper through for 1 run. Grace Harris, a part-time spin option, a really great signing for Surrey, and offers them a little bit of that extra spin option, and is quite often in the wickets, can have quite a golden arm, as part-time spinners often do, but that's not her principal job in the side, is it? Mike Perkins, welcome.
Hello Faith, hello everyone.
She's into Threlkeld, who misses that. Keeper whips the bails off, but there is no stumping, her foot is down. Sophie Morris is safe.
Eventful start that. You were talking about the 3.2 over power play. I was a little worried at 10 for 2 where the Scots 3 wickets down in the power play applied to 11 over a side cricket, because Lancashire were in some danger after 8 balls, being 2 wickets down, and they had a full 2 overs to bat from there to get through it, but these two have done well. 35 they've put on now.
Keeper just straightening the bails. I think the umpire's happy with that now. Grace Harris into Fee Morris, who uses her feet. There's a bit of an appeal, but that's definitely outside the line. They will run through for another run to the total.
Yeah, she sort of charged down the track on an angle there, so if it did strike her, or the only way it was going to hit the stumps was if it struck her outside the line of the off stump, because she was sort of going down on a diagonal angle to kind of negate the spin into her.
Threlkeld facing, and she hits that firmly into the leg side. There is a fielder there. They start off for 1 run, but they were really a good arm. They were never going to get another run there. So 47 for 2.
You could forgive Danny Wyatt-Hodge at 34 and with 3,200 T20 international runs under her belt for not doing the boundary ride anymore, but she's very keen out there.
Indeed, Grace Harris in, and that's knocked it to the leg side once again for another run. So just stemmed the flow of boundaries that had started to flow a bit more in the last over, as Grace Harris with her part-time spin.
Yes, I suppose this is the middle overs of an 11 over a side contest, but I don't think we'll see Lancashire slowing down too much here.
Into Threlkeld, who hits that past Grace Harris, and that's going towards the boundary, but there is a fielder covering, and so that's just the 1 run. It was struck very firmly, but a fielder up in the deep.
They placed it well, actually, because you're only allowed 4 outside what is a 25-yard circle in women's cricket, and they had used a fielder out at long off there with everyone else on the offside up inside the fielding circle. So that was quite a good bit of captaincy from Bryony Smith to have the fielder back and to sort of be using the boundary protection mainly on the leg side, but to have one straight at long off there was a good plan. You're with Mike Perkins and Faith Florence on BBC Radio Lancashire's FM services and the BBC Sport website, as well as Lancs TV, and it's good to have you with us wherever you're following this game.
Tilly Courtine-Coleman from the James Anderson end, bowling to Threlkeld, who hits that leg side through for another run.
That's the important thing, isn't it, during these, as I say, middle overs of sorts, that they just keep making sure they're getting bat on ball and scoring at least 1. And that'll keep the rate up, and then when the boundaries flow again, they'll be in a good position.
Into Fee Morris, who shuffles down the track. It's straight to the fielder. And they rotate strike once more. Yep, absolutely. You know, if you can't get a boundary, then definitely keep rotating the strike, keep adding those runs.
That was an example of it there, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
It was straight at the fielder, but they still got a single.
Into Morris, who hits that slightly aerially. There's a fumble from the fielder. I think it's Grace Harris there who's missed it. She's going to have to chase it towards the boundary. It's such a slow outfield. She has just stopped it. I think it's going to be another one of these threes that I like so much. So good running, not great fielding. And that's a good result for Lancashire Thunder there.
Well, you're at the right place for threes, Old Trafford. They talk about the pockets here, don't they? Hitting
Absolutely.
the pockets and running hard, and that's what happened there. Although it was courtesy of a rather awful piece of fielding from Grace Harris, if we're honest. The Australian will not be happy with the last two balls there. Had a single stolen to her and then failed to pick up the ball.
Indeed. 14 Coleman into Fee Morris, who takes a big swipe at it. Completely misses the ball. Ends up on her knees. Just gets back up to her feet again. Adjusts the gloves. Dusts herself down.
Partnership now standing at 44 between these two. It's been very useful.
Into Fee Morris, who this time it hits at to the leg side again, and they're through for another run.
Threlkeld marking her guard purposefully. Captain of Lancashire Thunder as they are in this competition. Just assessing the field, and she'll have plenty of thinking to do, no doubt, when she's got the gloves on in a moment as well.
Threlkeld hits that backwards square leg. Two fielders after it, but it goes all the way across the boundary for 4. Very well placed again. A bit of joy in that region so far. Have Lancashire Thunder.
Yeah, another important 4 to the total. That partnership up to 49, 7 overs gone now, and it's looking in a lot more healthy position than it was in the second over when these two came together. Nicely struck that one on the sweep behind square on the leg side and just rolled away for 4 more to the total, Faith.
Definitely. You know, after losing 2 quick wickets, and Ellie Threlkeld came out to the crease and has formed a really good partnership here with Fee Morris. So after 7 overs at 59 for 2, I think they're going to try and want to find those boundaries, get those going once again. It's very well rotating the strike and getting the 1s and 3s. But when you think of the hitting, the power that Surrey have in their lineup, I think we're going to need a few more boundaries from Lancashire if they want to get up to a good score. Danny Gregory into Fee Morris, who sweeps that square. There is a fielder. Another run to the total.
And someone's brought that big horn thing that you see at T20 games. There's not too many in who've survived through the rain. There's a smattering underneath the point, but one of them's clearly brought that big horn with them, so that's good.
Threlkeld skipper to face. And she misses that one, but gets her bat down, so there's no stumping. Not sure if you've got any bat on that at all, actually, but the ball just dribbling out under there.
No, I think it was all pads in the end that got between the keeper and the ball there.
She'll have another go. Gregory in, and bowled her. She's out. Middle stump is on the ground. A really good ball there from Danny Gregory. Ellie Threlkeld. A really good effort from Threlkeld just as she came out when Lancashire were in a little bit of trouble and settled things down a bit with Fee Morris, formed a partnership to really push the score along. But outfoxed there from a very good delivery by Danny Gregory.
Yeah, it was an ambitious stroke, trying to go back when the length wasn't really there to play it. It was actually a superb bit of bowling by Gregory in that it was hitting the very top of the stumps here as Threlkeld tried to pull it away through the leg side. Exactly 50 then put on between Morris and Threlkeld, and Ailsa Lister, the Scottish international, on her way to the crease. And we know she can put bat to ball, so that will be her plan here, you would imagine.
Yeah, definitely. I think Ailsa Lister, Lancashire fans will be happy to see her coming out next. I think in the loss against Hampshire the other day, she was the one batter that seemed to have the measure of the bowling and top scored for Lancashire. And it's great to see her actually gaining some form and being amongst the runs. Wasn't the strongest start so far this season, but she seems to have found her rhythm and timing. And
yeah,
it's a big job to
37
do.
off 20 in that defeat to Hampshire the other day. So Lancashire would take that again, I think, from Ailsa Lister.
Oh, 100%.
Included a couple of 4s and a 6 in that particular innings. So, as I say, if they can get something similar, you will be treated to it on BBC Radio Lancashire's FM frequencies, the BBC Sport website and Lancs TV.
She's going to be on strike there, Ailsa Lister. Just found a little bit of debris on the pitch there. Has given that to the umpire.
I think she spotted a stud.
Do you reckon?
You know the way studs can come out of spikes? I think she spotted one of those on the pitch, and she's given that to the umpire. Because if it was a bit of dirt or something, she'd have just thrown it away the way they usually do, or swept it with the bat.
Indeed. Gregory into Lister, who hits that firmly. They will be through for 1 run. Straight down the ground. She's felt bat on ball. She's off the mark. Good start for Lister.
It all feels very frantic, this, very rushed 11 over a side cricket. I mean, T20 cricket does anyway, let's be honest, but this feels particularly frantic. We've done really well to get a game in here. And at least it's not 5 overs a side, because that really does feel like a toss of the coin.
Gregory to Fee Morris, who uses her feet. And that stopped at long off, but they will get another run. Yeah, and it's not quite sort of 10 overs like a T10, it's 11, you know, just that one extra. Very unusual number of overs for a game.
Lancashire's rates drop just below 8 and over at the moment. They'll want to get it up around 8-9, you would think, and take that as a score.
Indeed. Gregory into Ailsa Lister. Strikes that firmly exactly to the same fielder. A little bit of a mix-up with the running. Shy at the stumps is miles off, so the batters are safe. There was a little wobbly period of cricket there for both teams, I think. Like you say, a little bit frantic at some times, but I suppose a bit understandable, really, given the way that the days unfolded. The players waiting a long time, and this 11-over game.
Yeah, I think Kesteven probably felt that she'd had a long wait for not very much cricket when she was out first ball, but I don't think there was much excuse there. There was always a single on. The plan for the last few overs, actually, particularly in that over, had been to come down the track, hit the ball, and if you got bat on ball to run, regardless, you know, it was charge down the track and then play hit and run cricket. So quite why Fee Morris stopped, I'm not sure. Maybe she didn't hear the call loud enough from Ailsa Lister, and that was what puzzled her. But the striker was always taking the run there. So yeah, they've had a lot of time to chat about it though, because it was the last ball of the over, and we're about to see Kalia Moore come back into the attack, who opened the bowling and got that wicket, stumped Kesteven off the very first ball of the innings. So should be after more of the same, you would imagine.
You would indeed, as she's into Ailsa Lister, who hits that firmly leg side. There is a fielder in the deep mid-wicket who will stop that, cut that off from the boundary. So just 1 more run added to the total. But well struck by Ailsa Lister. Straight to the fielder. Brings Fee Morris back on strike. Kalia Moore into Morris, who shuffles down the track. It's that to deep mid-wicket for 1 run.
Morris really needs to start finding the boundaries now. 26 off 23, just 2.4 overs left. She has to look for something big here. Obviously, Lister being a big hitter, that will help things. She's 3 off 3 facing up to this one.
Into Lister, who sweeps hard. That's gone behind. There, a fielder will cut it off. And they'll come back for 2 runs. There's a bit of hesitation, but not at the right end. They are both safe. Ailsa Lister running through for that 2nd run. Bit of hesitation from Fee Morris.
Yeah, I think she's a little unsure if Lister was coming back for that one, but Lister did there. It was a big top edge over the wicketkeeper's head to add a couple more. Scores elsewhere as well we've not had a chance to mention, such as the frantic nature. 43 for 3 is the West Indies score. They're playing against England in a 50 over a side match. They've been batting for 12.3 overs before the rain came. And then there's 2 other games in this competition.
Kalia Moore into Lister. Takes a swipe at it, falls over, appeal for stumping, and she's out. Very quick work behind the stumps there. Ailsa Lister losing her footing, just sort of losing her shape, and the bails were whipped off in no time at all.
Yeah, it's all very simple for Chatley once again, just as it was from the first ball of the innings. Able to just take it nice and cleanly and knock the bails off, and Lister stretching back for a crease ended up falling over and was left in a big heap. But it's what you have to do with only a short amount of time to bat and only a couple of overs left in the innings. Alana King coming out, which is an interesting choice. Perhaps not best known for her work with the bat, but the Australian international makes her way to the crease, and she will try and strike some lusty blows over the boundary, I would imagine, to try and get Lancashire up to a score. And I suppose if you've paid your money on your overseas, you may as well let them have a bat, see what they can do.
Indeed, and yeah, she's definitely capable of pinching a boundary or two towards the end of an innings. I think, yeah, that's a role we've seen her play, but as you say, you know, that's not what she's primarily known for.
5 for Lister, by the way, before she was stumped by Chatley off the bowling of Moore there, just to confirm that innings. We'll bring those scores from elsewhere too, but let's see how Alana King gets on first.
Kalia Moore into King, who hits that square. She's off the mark for 1 run.
Neatly manoeuvred away, wasn't it? So, yeah, elsewhere, Durham 119 for 6. They've managed to get 20 overs in at Arundel Castle against Hampshire. And the start's been delayed between the Blaze and Somerset. That's perhaps not surprising, given they're over at Trent Bridge and they're probably getting what we've had.
Moore to Morris, who steps back and hits that through the covers. There's a fielder after it. Is it going to get to the boundary? No, not quite. Well stopped there, but there's going to be a very well-run 3 runs again. Very big outfield, as you say, here at Emirates Old Trafford. And with this slightly slower outfield after the rainy conditions, plenty of time to run 3 runs there.
And a smile on Faith Florence's face as they
Indeed.
get through for 3. You with Faith and myself, Mike Perkins, on Lancs TV and BBC Radio Lancashire's FM services and the BBC Sport website. Scott Reed will be back as well during the second innings of this game. It is a cloudy day here at Old Trafford. The flags blowing, the pride flags up on top of the old pavilion at the far end, blowing from left to right as we look from the Brian Statham end. And it's a blustery, cloudy day, and it has been a wet day. As I say, I think the first part of that doubleheader at Trent Bridge, they might get a very similar game to the one we're having here, 11 overs aside. 2 more of those overs remaining for Lancashire. They're 71 for 4. And it's good to see the families that have stuck out the rain getting a little bit of cricket here as well.
So to bowl the 10th over, the penultimate over, Tilly Courtine-Coleman bowling from this Brian Statham end this time. Into Fee Morris, who shuffles down, and she's bowled out. Fee Morris is out. Bails go flying. That's another wicket for Surrey.
Good bit of bowling that, full and straight, and it was a if you miss, I hit. And that's exactly what Tilly Courtine-Coleman did. 16 wickets in the Charlotte Edwards Cup, which was the T20 competition that women's sides played last season. And she's picked up another one there with just a very good bit of dead-eye bowling.
Indeed, another good bit of captaincy from the Surrey skipper. Change of end there for Tilly Courtine-Coleman. Brings a wicket of the set batter. That was Fee Morris in this case. So 2 new batters at the crease, really. Danielle Collins comes in. Alana King, of course, is at the non-striker's end, 1 off 1 at the moment.
Strange situation, really, for Danny Collins. I suppose she's got nothing to lose. 1.5 overs. She's come into the side today to replace... She really technically replaces Katie Mack, even though it's the overseas King and Mack who swapped. But it's if you're looking at it batter for batter, it's Collins in for Mack and King's come in for Potts. But yeah, nothing really to lose, but nothing really to gain in some ways for Collins.
Coleman over the wicket. There's a sweep behind. The fielder's giving chase, but the ball trickling to the boundary and it's over. That's 4 runs. So very good start there for Danielle Collins. The best possible start, really, and that's, you know, like you said, there are not many deliveries left. Not quite a free hit, but a little bit of a free hit for the 2 batters.
Yeah, not a free hit in the sense she could have been dismissed, but
Indeed.
It was a nice reverse sweep that went all the way for 4. It was very full again from Courtine-Coleman then.
Courtine-Coleman in, and this time she's bowled out. So it was a short stay, a short time, but a good time for Danielle Collins. She's left having contributed a boundary at least to the Lancashire total. And yeah, as we were saying, I mean, you know, it's a time to take some risks. You've only got an over and a half remaining of batting. And I'm sure Surrey will be keenly aware that Lancashire are trying to score as much as possible off these last few
Yeah,
balls.
she walks off with a strike rate of 200, I suppose. That's what she can probably take from that short 2-ball innings there. Danny Collins, 4 off 2.
It's a great way to look at it.
She's the latest out to Tilly Courtine-Coleman, who also picked up Fee Morris earlier in the over for 29 off 25. We've seen Tara Norris just facing up now. The other wickets to Falker Steven of the first ball of the innings was stumped by Chatley of the bowling of Moore for 0. Saren Smale, LBW to McDonald Gay for 9. Threlkar was out for 24, bowled by Gregory, and Elsa Lister also stumped by Chatley of the bowling of Moore.
Courtine-Coleman, and just hit that to the leg side. Tara Norris, not known for her power batting, but definitely no mug with the bat at all. Tara Norris, she can bat very well. And definitely keep the strike rotating. I think Alana King can probably hit a bigger ball. So she's been watching from the non-striker's end for a little while now. Good to have her back on strike.
That's a little harsh on Norris. She can hit a big ball. She tends to need to get in a little bit to do
absolutely.
it. But she definitely hit one on the tennis courts at Southport.
And that's hit aerially by Alana King, but drops well in front of the fielder on the offside. That's a dot ball. A rare dot ball so far in this innings. Courtine-Coleman into King. This time sweeps firmly. Just for 1 run though. 76 for 6 after 77 for 6. I beg your pardon, after 10 overs. Lancashire. This final over, definitely want to try and hit some more boundaries, I would say. I don't know if that would be enough. A score like sort of 80, 90 runs to particularly intimidate the likes of Danny Wyatt-Hodge and Grace Harris, Bryony Smith, all batters to come from the Surrey lineup.
My feeling is that they got a very good position here, Lancashire, and they've perhaps not made the most of it. They sort of got very well placed, but just haven't been able to find the boundaries in the closing stages.
Yeah, earlier on they were having a bit more luck with boundaries. It's Grace Harris to bowl the final over, and that's hit firmly just for 1 run.
You can probably hear the wind rattling across the gantry down in front of us at the moment. It's very, very blustery indeed. I guess hitting with that wind might be the way to go. So long on for the left-handed Norris might be the option to go for. There is a fielder right back there. 3 on the leg side boundary. There's also that long off.
Grace Harris into a left-handed Norris, who hits that to the offside. It's another dot ball.
Dug it into the pitch there, Harris, didn't she? It was as if she was saying, if you're going to hit this one over long on, you're going to have to baseball it there, rather than being able to do anything else. And in the end, Norris sort of just forced it off the back foot and couldn't find a way through the offside ring.
Harris into Norris, who reverse hit, and it's just out of reach. It went quite aerial. Thought there might be a catch on there, but out of reach of the fielders. They'll run through for a quick 2.
Jones and Gregory were rather in each other's way in the end as they chased that one back. It was a, as you say, a reverse hit that came off the top edge and went over what originally in the left-hand stance is backward point.
Harris into Norris, and that's beaten everybody. There will be a fielder giving chase. It's not going to make it to the boundary. 2 batters get through for another 2 runs, so it's dealing in 2s in this final over. I'm sure they would dearly love to find a boundary before the end of this 11th over.
Yeah, it was real carnival cricket, that one, wasn't it?
Yeah, Tara Norris on strike. Grace Harris in, and she makes a little bit of connection with the bat, but that just skews into the offside, and they scamper through for 1 run. So good bowling from Grace Harris here, and Thunder really struggling to get any kind of meat off the bat from these shots that they're playing. So good bowling from Harris. She's got one ball left. Can Ilana King find the boundary? That she hits it up airily towards cow corner, but it plugs. There's a little bit of a misfield, so they will come back for 2 runs off the final ball of the over. So after 11 overs, the Lancashire innings, they've managed to score 85 runs for the loss of 6 wickets.
Yeah, what do you make of that as a total, Faith? As I say, it's very difficult to tell, isn't it? The run rate 7.73. Will Lancashire have wanted to be higher than that? We said they had a good position.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, but I think they definitely have probably left a few runs out there based on the way they started. It seems that, well, they weren't going to be hitting boundaries every over, but there was a stage in the game where they were able to find the boundary in an early partnership. That said, it is a score on the board, 85, you know, in these conditions, and with some really good bowling coming in from Lancashire still to come, they have every chance of defending that total. I think they'll feel...
Yes, thanks to Faith there. 85 then will be the chase here. Make sure you do rejoin us on BBC Radio Lancashire's FM services and the BBC Sport website. Let's hand you back to Dan Jewell in the studio.
85 for Lancashire. A brilliant knock from Fee Morris, who joins me now. Well played, Fee. How was it for you?
Yeah, it was quite tricky out there, actually. We're obviously playing on a used pitch that span a little bit. But yeah, I think we've got to a pretty decent total, considering, you know, it's quite a big boundary and it's been a bit wet here, so a little bit slow.
Did you feel a little bit under pressure to be a couple down so early on and then have to come in and try and steady the ship a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. It's always that balance between rebuilding, but also you've only got 11 overs to do it. So yeah, we just tried to knock it around a little bit. Luckily, Ellie came in and batted brilliantly, so it took the pressure off me a little bit.
Yeah, great captain's innings from her as well. How important was she to getting that total as well this afternoon?
Yeah, definitely. I think you can easily go into your shell when you're 2 down quite early on, but she definitely didn't. She's been hitting it really well this year, and yeah, she's been scoring a few really vital knocks, and hopefully another one today.
How tough is it when you've only got 11 overs to try and go at?
Yeah, I don't hate it. I quite like a short chat from. No, yeah, it is quite tricky. Again, like, it's hard to get that balance between rebuilding and when to go, especially when there's quite a lot of spinners in their ranks. But I think we did a pretty good job.
You're giving yourself a chance. How confident are you you'll be able to defend that total now, fingers crossed?
Yeah, definitely. We're a pretty spin-heavy team today, and, you know, we knew coming in that we were going to be on a used pitch, so we've got quite a few spinners on our ranks. You know, we know they've got a brilliant top order, but hopefully we can go out there and do the job.
Fingers crossed for you. Thanks very much indeed for joining us there. Thank you very much indeed, Fee Morris there, part of the Lancashire lineup that managed to get 85 after the 11 overs. There's a little bit of rain in the air. Fingers crossed we can get the rest of the 11 overs completed for the second innings, which is going to be coming up very, very soon.
Two names rich in history: Barton's, our family-run business with over 100 years of experience in drinks distribution, and Lancashire Cricket, a club drenched in tradition, heritage and globally recognised moments. Since 1917, Barton's has been supplying the finest wines, soft drinks and premium beverages across the UK, partnering with world-class brands to bring unforgettable experiences to every occasion. Now, we're excited to announce we will be bringing that same passion to cricket fans at Emirates Old Trafford. As the official wine, spirits and soft drinks partner of Lancashire Cricket, we're elevating matchday experiences, hospitality and celebrations across the next 3 years. From the first ball to the final cheers, Barton's is here to make every moment one to savour. Keep an eye out for some familiar brands such as Guinness, Celavino, VK Hooch and Britvic. Barton's and Lancashire Cricket, a partnership built on passion, unforgettable moments and history.
L is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary.
Welcome to the opening day. Oh, that is a wonderful shot.
This is a call for hungry dreamers and hard-working self-believers. Success is down to more than just luck and talent. It's striving to be the best, breaking the boundaries and never giving up. Are you ready to become your best self? Are you ready to unlock your greatness? So what are you waiting for? This is Education Evolved. This is UA 92.
When I was a kid, there was no professional women's cricket. I didn't even think that women could be professional sports people.
Especially early on, it just didn't really seem like there was a career in it.
To support myself around cricket, I had to work at the petrol garage.
I was the only girl, so I stood out.
I'd love for young girls to be able to dream about being an athlete and it to be achievable.
Thanks to the Hilton funding my contract, it's allowed me to play the game that I love all day, every day.
We're like an engine and we need to be fueled with the right gas.
Without funding, we can't be visible. You can't be what you can't see.
As a team, it feels like we're breaking boundaries.
Thunder and Lancashire always want to put women's cricket at the forefront, and now I think that's really shining through.
It's mad to think that without the Hilton funding, like, we wouldn't be playing cricket every day, training.
Well, we could be, but we wouldn't have any money.
We wouldn't, yeah, true.
Welcome back to viewers on Lancs TV. We'll have listeners back as well on BBC Radio Lancashire very shortly. We're just awaiting the players' return. Good to see Lanky the Giraffe getting a run out today as the umpires make their way back out.
Never defeated by the weather, Lanky.
And welcome back to listeners on BBC Radio Lancashire as the players just are about to make their way back out onto the field. We got a shot on our screens there of Bryony Smith and Danny Wyatt-Hodge. There's only one way they're going to approach a chase of 86. Grace Harris at number 3 as well. It's a stacked batting lineup for Surrey, but it could go one of two ways, I think, here, Faith. I think either way, we're going to see victory by a margin, if that makes sense. Either Surrey are going to go after this and be all out for 50 or 60 and get nowhere near it, or they're going to knock it off with overs to spare. I think it's one or other in this this scenario. Is that your view?
100%, Mike. I think I'm with you there. I mean, these batters, Bryony Smith, Danny Wyatt-Hodge, Grace Harris waiting in the wings. Like you say, it's going to go one of two ways, and Thunder can be smart about it, and they'll be aware of that. And they've got some canny spinners in particular in their side that will look to make short work of these very destructive batters. So it's very exciting chase on our hands.
But it is an opportunity for those in Lancashire Red to get a victory on the board here. They will know any false shots from them. They've just got to hold their catches if that's what's required. Maybe a bowled or an LBW if they miss the ball completely. And they could be right into this Surrey team, and they could get a very, very useful 4 points indeed. It's going to be Sophie Morris, by the looks of things, to open the bowling, the slow left armer who plays her cricket at Upton Cricket Club right up on the Wirral, and she's pacing out her guard. The umpire, Jasmine Naeem, was so fearful of the power hitting of the Surrey batters that she even checked that the bats were the right regulations, which is always amusing. We're seeing the rain radar as well too on our screen to the left-hand side, and that looks all clear, which is good news. So we're going to see a conclusion to this game, it would seem. In fact, if we get anything, it'll be in the next 5 minutes or so, but it looks as if we are going to get a full 11 overs. We've got the DLS par score, just in case, as we say. Scott Reed will be back with myself, Mike Perkins and Faith Florence very shortly, as one more blast of wind blows across the gantry, and this one is cut away from Sophie Morris's first ball, which was on a good length and turned slightly away from Bryony Smith, and she hit the cover field of Fee Morris. No run to start with, still 86 required. As Morris waits at the back of her run once more, twirls in, and this one is twiddled away by Bryony Smith into the leg side, wide of mid-on. Fielder comes from deep mid-wicket to try and help out, but Ailsa Lister's able to make the return. First run of the innings, 85 more required, one without loss.
We saw some good stumpings in the previous innings, didn't we? And Lancashire might fancy that's another way that they are likely to take wickets this innings.
Threlkeld always likes a stumping. Reminder, we're in the 3.2 over power play, which is rather exciting for everyone. We even have a cut-off time, which would be 10 to 5, 9 to 5 to be precise, as this one is blocked by Danny Wyatt-Hodge with those 3,207 T20 international runs. She'll be looking for a score to get back into that England team, but just blocking the first one for no run. Morris got her out at Southport earlier in the season, of course, as this one's cut away behind square, but for no run by Wyatt-Hodge. And this was exactly what Morris did. She frustrated her for 6 balls with a maiden, then another couple of dots to start the next one, and Wyatt-Hodge ended up having a big slog in the air and was caught at backward point. Can Morris produce something similar here? She throws this one up and it's hit away into the leg side, and that bounces once before it crosses the boundary. There was an attempt there by Darcy Carter, the 20-year-old Scottish international, to keep it within the ropes, but Sophie Morris concedes a boundary, 5 without loss, and that went rather better for Danny Wyatt-Hodge than it did at Southport earlier in the season in the 50-over format.
Indeed, it did, and yeah, you wondered when Danny Wyatt-Hodge was going to free her hands, free the arms, and take a big swing at that. So not long till her first boundary produced.
4 to the total as it crossed the rope, 1 bounce, 5 without loss the score. Morris bowls. Back into the stumps goes Wyatt-Hodge, again chops down into that backward point region. There are 3 waiting there expectantly, but they won't get a catch in this particular over. 81 more needed for victory. We've had 1 over. The score is 5 without loss. You with Mike Perkins and Faith Florence on BBC Radio Lancashire's FM services, the BBC Sport website, and Lancs TV on YouTube is where you can find the pictures, as we're going to have a slightly different approach from the other end. It's going to be the bowling of Grace Johnson, Burnley born. Started playing her cricket at Lower House Cricket Club before moving to Ramsbottom. Has been in the Thunder Academy right through her time with Lancashire. Debuted in both formats last summer and is the 11th graduate of the Thunder Academy, which came into being for the regional setup to play senior cricket. So she is somebody who there will be big hopes for as she goes forward in her career, and she's pacing into bowl from the Sir James Anderson end, and she's swatted away into the leg side by Bryony Smith, who was back on her stumps but almost in a baseball position as she played that one out to Darcy Carter at the mid-wicket boundary. 6 without loss, the total moves on to with a single. As the ball is thrown round, it reaches Tara Norris. The wind still blowing left to right as we look from the Statham end towards the city of Manchester with its high rises in the distance. And Lancashire just going to move a fielder in front of square to mid-wicket here and move the deep mid-wicket fielder, one of the 2 allowed outside the ring at this stage. Reminder, it's a smaller ring in women's cricket, 25 yards. That fielder goes to just forward of square leg on the boundary. Short and pulled away by Wyatt Hodge. You seem to have plenty of time to direct that one out to the fielder just forward of square leg, who has to come behind square to pick it up. 7 without loss.
I saw Danny White earlier making a kind of swirling motion with her hands, perhaps to indicate to a non-striking partner that about the wind, the effect of the wind on the deliveries there. So perhaps a bit more of a watchful start than one might expect from these 2 batters.
Yeah, maybe that's the ploy here from the young bowler Johnson, to dig it into the pitch and try and get one to hold up in the breeze. Well, this one's gone through long off. It's going to plug a little bit in the grass, but it will still roll away for 4 more to the total. And it's another boundary for Surrey, this time to Bryony Smith. Backed away from it slightly and just was able to baseball it down centre right field, mid-off in cricketing terms. 4 runs to the total, 11 without loss. We're halfway through the second over of the Surrey reply. Reminder, 86 needed for victory here against Lancashire at Old Trafford, as this one is played away into the leg side. Smith will run through for 1. Off the boundary comes the fielder Carter and keeps the scoring to 1, 12 without loss. A couple of words of encouragement between the Lancashire fielders as the ball's returned to Johnson at the back of a run. Prepares to pace in with the valuable wicket of Wyatt Hodge on offer. Right arm over the wicket, short of length, touched into the leg side, but the batters are quick, and it was Wyatt Hodge who had the most ground to make up there and was therefore able to get through for the single. 13 without loss, the score moves on to.
73 needed to win from 55 balls.
It sounds difficult, but it can get, with wickets in hand, that can get very easy very quickly, I suppose, and there will be wickets in hand throughout. And Smith has whammed this one back down the ground again. Straight over mid-off and away for 4 runs. Really nice hit there from Bryony Smith. Baseball position again. Slight bit of room she gave herself. Just back in her crease she goes to allow herself to do that. 2 boundaries off the over, 17 without loss. Brave move there to bowl Grace Johnson, the young academy graduate in that over Faith. Tara Norris would have been another option with the seam. To get out of it with 2 boundaries, will Lancs consider that okay? 69 of 54 now needed.
I mean, not the end of the world, but it's definitely moved things slightly and more in favour of Surrey there. You know, Bryony Smith likes a bit of pace on the ball, and those 2 boundaries that she shot were identical.
Yeah, hit them very, very nicely indeed, as in comes Morris to bowl. Down the track goes Wyatt Hodge. It's held up in the breeze as it goes up towards long off. They're going to come back for 2. And they will get there successfully. 19 without loss. It was over the head of Norris mid-off, but it noticeably held up in the breeze there, didn't it? Admittedly, Wyatt Hodge had got under it and gone sort of high rather than long, but
indeed,
it was noticeably stopped. We'll get some more thoughts on that from Faith Florence in a moment, as this one is pulled away into the leg side. Carter's going to go round to try and cover, and in fact Carter's the one who gets closest to the ball there. Collins couldn't get there. Carter was rather waiting as if she thought Collins might, and it's gone between the two of them for 4. Nice shot from White Hodge, 23 without loss, but that's clearly the easier route to the boundary, with a little bit of wind blowing it on its way across the floor rather than going over mid-off as we saw previously.
Yeah, indeed, and you thought for a moment that she might cut that off there at the boundary, but slid in sort of leg first. I think did Grace Johnson, so wasn't able to parry the ball back to her fielding partner.
The voice of Faith Florence alongside myself, Mike Perkins, on commentary here as Sophie Morris comes in from the Statham end. This one's touched into the offside, and Smith and Wyatt have clearly practiced that one before because they were immediately through. I don't even think there was a call between them there. It was almost telepathic, the running between the two Surrey batters. 24 without loss when you've only got 86 to defend, albeit in only 11 overs. Is a decent start for the visitors here. Lancashire need a wicket. As a pigeon swoops along the...
Absolutely, and the opening batters for Surrey are more than capable and will want to take this game, finish this off themselves, this chase.
Here comes Morris. A couple more pigeons swoop along the Statham end, and this one is swept out to Carter, who's been busy in the field so far. Coming off the mid-wicket boundary, finds her captain's gloves. And Threlkeld returns the ball round to Morris for the loss of only a single on that occasion. 25 without loss, 61 off 50. That difference between balls left and runs required is already closing up as Morris bowls. And down the track comes Smith, and she's hit this one straight and hard. And in fact, it was White Hodge there, and it was a much better shot than the one she played earlier in the over. Going over the top, slightly onside of straight this time as she advanced down the track. And that one she got a lot more of the bat on, and it just sailed away over the top of the infield for 4 runs. 29 without loss.
Absolutely. Danger signs for Lancashire here, I think. Bryony Smith and Danny White Hodge really getting into the groove, really finding their rhythm. And meeting those balls a lot better. It must be quite an uplifting feeling when you've got Paige Schofield and Grace Harris waiting the dugout to come out should you lose your wicket. So they can really have fun out here chasing this total.
2 firm hitters of a cricket ball. Paige Schofield chased down runs here against Lancashire Thunder a couple of seasons ago with a quick innings, as that one is defended back to Sophie Morris. 57 required from 48. We have had 3 overs now of the innings. That means 2 more balls of the power play are excitingly left. See 1 or 2 people waving to the cameras here at Old Trafford, and we see a little bit of thinking to be done by Ellie Threlkeld, who's come down to the bowler's end at the Sir James Anderson end to have a chat with Alana King, the Australian international brought here. She's presumably going to bowl 3 overs, which we believe is the maximum you can bowl in an 11-over game. 3, and then 4 bowlers have to bowl 2. She's on for the last 2 balls of the power play. Would have you maybe brought her on a bit earlier, or is that asking a lot of somebody who's literally just got off the plane?
Well, I did wonder, when she was going to come on. I think this is probably the latest that you would bring her on in this situation.
For the 4th over of the innings, 2 balls of which there will only be allowed 2 players outside the 25-yard fielding circle as it is in women's cricket. This one just twiddled away by Bryony Smith behind square on the leg side. She picks up 1 for it. 30 the score moves on to.
Really exciting to see Alana King bowling her first delivery in Lancashire colours.
Now I wonder how many of those 98 international wickets across all formats involve Danny White Hodge, because she's facing up, and that might be what is going through the... I think we can... It seems wrong to say former England international, because she could well get back in next time they announce the squad, but she's currently out the side. 34 years of age now, White Hodge, and she faces up as King bowls, and White Hodge sweeps away behind square on the leg side, and that one's going to go all the way for 4 runs. 34 without loss, the score moves on to, and that was a very, very nice stroke indeed from White Hodge. It was slightly leg side from Alana King. She obviously has the right to stray out there a little bit because she bowls leg spin, but that wasn't the ball to bowl, last ball of the power play. Adds 4 to the total.
No, indeed. Swept with some authority by Danny White-Hodge. She's got her eye in now. And as a set batter, it doesn't matter who's bowling, she can put away the bad ones when they come along.
So they've changed the field slightly now. They're allowed more fielders outside of the fielding circle. We've got long off and extra cover back. We have a backward square leg and a deep mid-wicket. Alana King on her way again. She bowls to White-Hodge. She pushes this one into the offside, and another single added to the total. 35 without loss, 51 from 45, and a reminder it is 4 fielders allowed outside the ring in women's cricket. First time we've brought it you on BBC Radio Lancashire's FM services, so good to be with you on those, and the BBC Sport website as well, and Lancs TV. As here comes Alana King again. Throws one up to Smith, and it nearly dips on her under the bat in the end, and for that reason it goes rather awkwardly out into the leg side. Fee Morris comes round to pick up. 36 without loss. Faith Florence?
Yeah, after that that first loosener by Alana King, I think she's bowling the last 2 deliveries, has found her line much better.
And Lancashire need a wicket, and this seems a likely source of one at the moment. Here comes King again. Right arm over the wicket. Bowls a leg spinner that appreciably turns even from this distance up on the top tier at the Statham end. 1 added to the total due to the cut, which went out towards extra cover. Smale there with the fielding.
Yeah, twice she's forced.
In comes King again. Bowls a ball that's cut squarer this time. There's a little bit of a chase on out there for Danny Collins, who's always quick across the turf. It was surprising to see that pull stroke a couple of overs ago get through. 48 required now, 42. 38 without loss is the score at the end of the 4th over. You're listening on BBC Radio Lancashire's FM services, the BBC Sport website, and Lancs TV with Mark Perkins and Faith Florence.
Yeah, I was going to say she forced Danny Wyatt to sort of step back and play off the back foot, slightly awkward shots, and stop those boundaries flowing that had started to increase in the previous over.
Here's Tara Norris then, taking her cap off. She'll bowl left arm seam. Has won the Rachel Hare Flint Trophy with the Vipers, and looking to add more glory to Lancashire's season, which has already seen them lift the T20 County Cup, a knockout competition, before we went into this Blast competition. So another trophy to Tara Norris's collection. And she knows if Lancashire can get a win here, it'll be a valuable 4 points in terms of their Blast campaign. But at the moment, 38 without loss, it's looking like Smith and White-Hodge are going to try and make short work of this chase. Here comes Norris then, Statham end. Left arm over the wicket, in swing and delivery, takes the edge, goes up in the air, and it will be caught on the offside by Seren Smale. At backward point, just a couple of yards behind point. She was placed there superbly by Ellie Threlkeld, the captain, who congratulates her. And it was an uppy stroke from Bryony Smith, who was looking to go after that 5th over from ball 1. She got a top edge and was well caught. Bryony Smith is out, 38 for 1. The Surrey score. They're still in charge, you feel here, but that was the wicket Lancashire needed, and it came with the bowling change. Tara Norris into the attack.
Exactly, that's the big breakthrough there for Lancashire. It hung up in this swirling breeze a little bit, the ball, but it hadn't gone very high off the top edge there, and a very comfortable catch for Seren Smale. You'll expect her to take those any day of the week, 10 times out of 10. And of course that brings Grace Harris out to the crease. She'll be next on strike. But nevertheless, good work by Lancashire there and Tara Norris to make that breakthrough.
15 for Bryony Smith before being caught by Seren Smale off the bowling of Tara Norris. 38 for 1. Now can Norris back up the first wicket with the second straight away? Should be bowling at the Australian international Grace Harris. who is just assessing her options and seeing a little bit of movement in the field. Mid-wicket coming in. A relatively short straight one, actually. Sort of around about, I wouldn't say halfway, but certainly only 2/3 of the way back on the fielding circle as Norris comes in and bowls. Swings in again appreciably, but it's hit back over Norris's head for 4 runs. And Harris was almost dismissive of that first ball from Norris. There was no fear from what had just happened to her captain. And she hit it a lot straighter than her captain was trying to there, and it goes back over Norris's head for 4. And such is the life of a bowler in, I was going to say T20 cricket, but 11 over a side cricket, Faith Florence.
My goodness, yeah. Rather Tara Norris out there than me.
She will be hoping for a W in the scorer's box rather than a 4 this time, and does find an edge and does find a W. That is out. Fee Morris this time with the catch in at cover, and Grace Harris is gone for 4. Second ball, leading edge. Just tried to turn that one leg side rather than playing with a straight bat the way she had the previous ball, and Tara Norris has had the impact that could be getting Lancashire back into this game. 86 the target for victory. Surrey have 42 of those runs, but they've also lost 2 wickets in the space of 3 balls.
Fantastic there by Tara Norris and Lancashire. Another breakthrough just in the space of a couple of deliveries. And Lancashire are really doing what is necessary now. Surrey had started to look really comfortable. I mean, their opening bats put on a really strong opening stand. And just as Lancashire long for the breakthrough, 2 London buses come along at the same time. And they're in a much better position now. 44 to win from 39. Yet Surrey did reduce that deficit a lot. However, 2 quick wickets from Thunder put the pressure a little bit back on the Surrey batters.
They were big red Lancashire buses, those ones, weren't they? And 2 wickets to Tara Norris. Clever bit of bowling that, scrambled the seam there. I think she sort of went with almost the same arm speed, but sort of changed what she did with her fingers a little bit to allow the seam to scramble. As we say, she's won trophies, she's a clever bowler, she's placing the ball between the first 2 fingers of that left hand and bowling another ball that is clipped up to Ailsa Lister. Schofield, you imagine, will just have a little look, but then will be quite aggressive. She's the 4th of the players that Lancashire need to get out to win this game. They have to get that top 4 of the Surrey lineup, you feel, to defend 86 in 11 overs in this game. Tara Norris has got 2 of them. She's after a 3rd. Threlkeld stood up to the stumps. And in charges Lancashire's number 24 from the Statham end. Bowls, it's hit to Alana King at mid-off. Does the fielding well. Another dot ball. Important to sort of build these up after a couple of wickets.
Absolutely, a really good over by Tara Norris, and Danny Wyatt at the non-strikers end, leaning on her bat, probably itching to get back onto the strikers, onto the strike. So they've done well, Lancashire, to keep her off.
It was the 3rd wicket stand of 50 that really bolstered the Lancashire score and put them in a good position that they maybe didn't capitalise on as much as they would have liked, as this one is pulled down the ground to long on, where Ailsa Lister does the fielding. 1 more to the total. We've had 5 overs, 43 required now from 36 balls. I will bring Scott Reed back into the commentary position after a thought from Faith Florence.
Yeah, so after a really rapid start from the Surrey, the opening partnership of Bryony Smith, the skipper, and Danny Wyatt-Hodge, got Surrey away to a really fast start. And one wondered when the breakthrough was going to come for Lancashire. It was Tara Norris in the 5th over who produced a breakthrough. 2 big wickets. First of all, Bryony Smith, and then Grace Harris. Off the bowling of Tara Norris, she went after scoring 1 boundary, 4 from her 2 deliveries that she faced. So still a big job, of course, for Lancashire Thunder to do. Surrey will feel still fairly relaxed, fairly in control, with 43 to win of 36 balls. Welcome back, Scott Reed.
Yes, those couple of wickets desperately needed by Lancashire Thunder. Still fancy Surrey from this position. Less than, just a fraction of a run of balls, and with plenty of batting to come. Needed those 2 wickets, Thunder.
Absolutely. Darcy Carter into Paige Schofield. It's a dot ball.
Yeah, a bit more pressure applied. Some dot balls here. It's another wicket or 2. Could make it quite a nervy end to the game.
Absolutely. Carter into Schofield, who hits that back over her head. There is cover on the boundary. They'll get through just for the 1 run. Yeah, having applied all this pressure now, Lancashire, they'll really need to want to squeeze now in, I suppose you call these the middle overs of the 11. Putting on a bit of a squeeze, putting the pressure back on Surrey.
Well, they've got to try and make this ground feel as big as it is and make those boundaries feel quite a long way to reach. Make them run, potentially, these runs, rather than try and hit it over the rope.
Indeed.
But everything's going to be spotted, hasn't it? All the fielding's going to be good. Chances taken.
Carter into Wyatt Hodge, who hits that aerially. That's gone high. And it's safe from the fielder. They'll scumper back for 2 runs.
For a second, I think he maybe could be a possibility of a catch there. Just enough on it in the end to clear Sophie Morris inside the circle at short fine leg. Under maybe 10 yards beyond Morris.
Wyatt Hodge on strike. Carter in. This time that's hit aerially towards Cow Corner. There's a fielder underneath it. She's taking the catch and she's out. That's another wicket for Lancashire. Caught by Elsa Lister out on the Cow Corner boundary. A really good catch by Elsa Lister, and fantastic plans there by the Lancashire skipper to put Darcy Carter in there at the James Anderson end. That's produced another wicket, a spell of really good pressure by Lancashire, and things now looking much more wobbly for Surrey, and sailing a little bit in favour of Lancashire.
Yeah, it is good captaincy to get Carter in, and also to put Lister on that long on boundary, because the temptation here for Surrey will be to try and do it in boundaries, try and hit some big shots, and pushing Lister back towards long on in that catching position on the boundary. Smart piece of work. And it's a good catch from Lister. There's a bit of, she made that look really routine just watching back on the replay, but there's a lot of pressure on it because of the fact that the margins are so slim for Lancashire Thunder. Any chances that they create, they've got to take. Catches have got to go to hand and be taken cleanly. So there's a wee bit of pressure on here for the fielders. And Elsa Lister, she's a fine cricketer, and she wasn't dropping that. Still in with a chance. 42 win off 32. Carter with her first of the afternoon.
So it's Kira Chatley, the new batter to face. She hits that again towards the long on boundary. It's a little bit aerial, but drops far and short of the fielder. Get through for the 1 run.
Yeah, Lister again on that boundary. For a second it looked like maybe it would go all the way towards Lister. Realised it was bouncing just short. Good over this from Carter. Just 4 off it and the wicket.
Carter into Chatley. Again hits that towards the long on. Again it's in the air. Safe from the fielder's hands though. And to get through for another run. A really good over bowled by Darcy Carter.
Yeah, 5 runs coming off it, plus a wicket for Carter. That's good stuff. Thunder here just trying to find a way to put pressure back on Surrey. 38 off 30 deliveries. I mean, there's still plenty of batting to come, but just dipping down below where they need to be in terms of the run chase. Having set off at a pretty similar tempo to Lancashire Thunder, but it's just tailed off, as wickets tend to do. They tend to drag the bowling side back into it. And we're going to see the second over from Alana King.
Yeah, probably now a good time for Alana King to come back and see if she can continue to put the pressure on Surrey. She's into Schofield, just nudges that leg side. There's well, not quite a shot at the stumps, but they will scamper through for 1 run.
Do what Alana King's making of the Manchester weather. She warmed up yet, do you reckon?
I saw her in warming up the other day when she'd arrived, and she was saying to someone, "Is this your summer?" As it rained all around her. So saw her earlier, all wrapped up in a full outdoor gear. as she is in to Chatley, who sweeps that square. Stopped by the fielder. Just one more run to the total.
Yeah, first bit of cricket for Alana King since the end of March. Involved in the T20 series for Australia against New Zealand, playing in Wellington and Mount Maunganui.
And this time that's hit into the leg side by Paige Schofield. They will come back for 2 runs.
And for England fans in that test match in Melbourne in the winter, picking up 4 for 45 for Australia against England, and then 5 for 53 in the second innings. Put England plays into cold sweats, that.
King over the wicket to Schofield. Gets down and sweeps again. To long on. They'll get through for just the 1 run, so just taking singles, respecting the bowling of Alana King, the 2 Surrey batters. Perhaps thinking they'll catch up in the next over. King into Chatley. And she's bowled her. First wicket for Lancashire. Alana King takes out the middle stump of Kira Chatley.
Well, it's lovely bowling by King, isn't it? The previous delivery, she just dragged the length back a little bit. That last delivery pushed much fuller, fraction quicker from King as well. And right through the defences of a batter, smashing in towards the stumps.
They'll be...
Are in with a chance here now.
Yeah, absolutely. The wickets are ticking along nicely, and that'll be a really good feeling for Alana King to get her first wicket for a new side, Lancashire Thunder. She's really familiar with this ground. Alana King, I remember seeing her take a hat-trick here with the Trent Rockets in the 100 competition a few years ago. And the Lancashire faithful will be licking their lips at the prospect of her doing something similar in her time here at Lancashire Thunder. So I understand they've got her up to finals day if Lancashire make it up to that stage, so it's a really good start. Jones facing, and that's just hit to the offside. That's a dot ball. Successful over for Alana King.
Yeah, it's an outstanding 6 deliveries, isn't it, by Alana King? It's a really brave ball, the wicket-taking ball too, isn't it? Because she's thrown that up, and at this stage of the match, with wickets in hand, it's a brave ball to bowl, but backing skills and finding a breakthrough. It has started to rain here, and we're in potential DLS territory, par scores, and at the minute they are 1 run behind Surrey.
Darcy Carter from the James Anderson end, and that's attempted reverse sweep by Paige Schofield, just retrieved by the keeper. Another dot ball. Yeah, a bit blustery rain now, isn't it? It's been very windy all along, but added the rain to that.
They'll try and play through it as best they can. Ellie Threlko's looking up towards the scoreboard. She knows that her side at the minute are ahead of the game.
Carter into Schofield, who hits that aerially. And has that gone all the way for 6?
Oh, it has.
Yep, as the umpire has a look over her shoulder. She's calling for the ball. It looked to go just to bounce right on the rope from the angle that we're looking at. It's hard to see, and I think the umpire will want to check that, but she confirms that 6 runs.
Yeah, that if we go in now, if we go off now, Surrey are ahead with that 6. That's a big hit, that vital part of the game potentially.
What timing as Darcy Carter in, and there's a dot ball.
So just to recap here, as it stands with rain falling, umpires are doing their best to stay out there, but should they take them off, and Surrey are ahead via the DLS par score.
Incredible 6 from Paige Schofield just at that moment as Carter is in, and this time that's hit aerially in the leg side. The fielder will cut it off, but they'll run back, they'll hurry back for 2 runs.
It's a really awkward one for the umpires here, because it has got a fraction heavier, and at one stage in this over, Lancashire were ahead, and then the 6 changed it to Surrey, but they've got to try and keep it even and fair for both sides.
Carter into Schofield, who sweeps. One more run to the total. Yeah, there's a sort of a band of weather hovering over us, and it is due to sweep past at some point, and then there's a bit of clear space behind it as we look at the radar on our screen. So perhaps the umpire's thinking this will sweep through with a heavy wind, and play can continue. Carter into Jones.
He needed a wicket there really to change it, because they might go off now at the end of the over. We'll see. The umpires are going to meet. Like a wicket there changes it, puts Lancashire Thunder back in front. It's a really difficult one, and you sympathise for the umpires here, because they have to try and make it fair for both sides. It is heavy now. It would be unusual to stay out in these conditions, but are they going to give it a go? I think they are, to be fair to them. They're going to try and stick it out.
Yeah, all the players are in the position. Paige Schofield marking her guard at the other end, at the James Anderson end. Lancashire hurried very quickly to their positions.
So as it stands, they are 1 run ahead. Oh,
it's got heavier, and they're going off. The umpires have called them in. Yeah.
And if we don't get back out there, then Surrey will win via the DLS.
Yeah, the current score is 62. DLS par to tie would be 60. So Surrey are ahead at the moment, 62 for loss of 4 after 8 overs. The hover cover is coming in.
Indeed. It's a tough one, that, and for the umpires, because in that over, the over started with Surrey behind on DLS, and it was raining, and Lancashire would not deliberately, but just part of the game, just not massively rushing around, knowing that Surrey were behind and rain was falling. They kept them out there, and then that 6 pushes Surrey in front on the DLS par score. The rain gets a bit heavier, and to the umpire's credit, they've said, right, we'll obviously try and see this through, because we were out there when Lancashire were ahead. We've got to try and stay out a little bit now while Surrey are ahead. But as soon as it gets to the end of the over, they get a little bit nervous because the rain starts to get heavier. And they were in position to start that 9th over. But you don't play cricket in these conditions, I'm afraid.
No, I think this is the heaviest I've seen it all day, and there are clear skies behind it. However, this looks like it's what could be 5-6 minutes, maybe even 10 minutes of quite heavy rain. And I think, yeah, the umpires did their best to keep play going, but players had to come in there, and you just have to. A round of applause for Paige Schofield and that 6, you know. I think that's the moment that she just really capitalised and swung it in favour of her team with a brilliantly hit 6.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? It was perfectly timed for Surrey's point of view, and as soon as it went for 6, it just changed the whole equation of the game. If we can see that picture of the radar again, we can see that it's not like a complete blanket of rain, but it's just bubbling up the showers, and we're in the middle of a reasonably kind of heavy one at the minute, because we started late as well. There's not much room here for allowing much of a delay. So there's a race against time. There's a race against the weather as well, and it's pretty awkward, this, isn't it, for everybody?
Yeah, and with the rain, I think being heavier than I've seen it all day. You know, even if it passes through quickly, it's quite a drenching that the outfield is getting now. It would take time for the groundskeepers to get everything back to ship shape, and I don't know that that's time that we've got.
No, well, we'll soon find out. The full covers aren't on yet. It's just the main pitch cover that's protecting the pitch that we're playing on. The additional sheets haven't been brought out, and it's certainly not as heavy now as it was when the players went off. So we're far from being done in this game. At the minute, Surrey are marginally ahead on the Duckworth-Lewis-Stern method, but there's so little in it. We might yet get some more cricket, and we might yet see Thunder come back out and see if they can try and drag it back level. But rain coming at the wrong time for Thunder, and that's 6 coming in particularly at the wrong time for Thunder, but beautifully hit by Paige Schofield to push Surrey ahead on the DLS method. Right, our listeners across BBC Radio Lancashire, at least for the next few minutes, are going to be leaving us. We'll hand you to Dan Jewell.
Two names rich in history: Barton's, our family-run business with over 100 years of experience in drinks distribution, and Lancashire Cricket, a club drenched in tradition, heritage and globally recognised moments. Since 1917, Barton's has been supplying the finest wines, soft drinks and premium beverages across the UK, partnering with world-class brands to bring unforgettable experiences to every occasion. Now, we're excited to announce we will be bringing that same passion to cricket fans at Emirates Old Trafford. As the official wine, spirits and soft drinks partner of Lancashire Cricket, we're elevating matchday experiences, hospitality and celebrations across the next 3 years. From the first ball to the final cheers, Barton's is here to make every moment one to savour. Keep an eye out for some familiar brands such as Guinness, Celavino, VK Hooch and Britvic. Barton's and Lancashire Cricket, partnership built on passion, unforgettable moments and history.
L is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary.
Welcome to the opening day. Oh, that is a wonderful shot.
This is a call for hungry dreamers and hard-working self-believers. Success is down to more than just luck and talent. It's striving to be the best, breaking the boundaries and never giving up. Are you ready to become your best self? Are you ready to unlock your greatness? So what are you waiting for? This is Education Evolved. This is UA 92.
When I was a kid, there was no professional women's cricket. I didn't even think that women could be professional sports people.
Especially early on, it just didn't really seem like there was a career in it.
To support myself around cricket, I had to work at the petrol garage.
I was the only girl, so I stood out.
I'd love for young girls to be able to dream about being an athlete and it to be achievable.
Thanks to the Hilton funding my contract, it's allowed me to play the game that I love all day, every day.
We're like an engine and we need to be fueled with the right gas.
Without funding, we can't be visible. You can't be what you can't see.
As a team, it feels like we're breaking boundaries.
Thunder and Lancashire always want to put women's cricket at the forefront, and now I think that's really shining through.
It's mad to think that without the Hilton funding, like, we wouldn't be playing cricket every day, training.
Well, we could be, but we wouldn't have any money.
We wouldn't, so. Yeah, true.
Two names rich in history: Barton's, our family-run business with over 100 years of experience in drinks distribution, and Lancashire Cricket, a club drenched in tradition, heritage and globally recognised moments. Since 1917, Barton's has been supplying the finest wines, soft drinks and premium beverages across the UK, partnering with world-class brands to bring unforgettable experiences to every occasion. Now, we're excited to announce we will be bringing that same passion to cricket fans at Emirates Old Trafford. As the official wine, spirits and soft drinks partner of Lancashire Cricket, we're elevating matchday experiences, hospitality and celebrations across the next 3 years. From the first ball to the final cheers, Barton's is here to make every moment one to savour. Keep an eye out for some familiar brands such as Guinness, Celavino, VK Hooch and Britvic. Barton's and Lancashire Cricket, a partnership built on passion, unforgettable moments and history.
L is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary.
Welcome to the opening day. Oh, that is a wonderful shot.
This is a call for hungry dreamers and hard-working self-believers. Success is down to more than just luck and talent. It's striving to be the best, breaking the boundaries and never giving up. Are you ready to become your best self? Are you ready to unlock your greatness? So what are you waiting for? This is Education Evolved. This is UA.
So I'm afraid the news here from Emirates Old Trafford, as you can see with the players shaking hands, is that the match has finished with victory for Surrey via the Duckworth-Lewis-Stern method. Our old friend DLS are coming to the aid of Surrey. That's 6 in the end, proving pretty crucial for the visitors to secure a win. It was in the end, Faith, a really good game of massively shortened cricket, but Thunder did well to try and drag it back and almost win it.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, we wondered what it was going to be like, this 11-over game, and they put a decent score on the board to start with, Lancashire. And Surrey came out the blocks of very powerful batters, and then Lancashire started to pull it back with 4 overs. But Paige Schofield, who is an amazing batter, with that inspired 6 that she hit off the bowling of Darcy Carter, seemed to, definitely did turn it back in favour of Surrey. So it was a brave hit, and it was a decisive one that has won the game for Surrey.
Indeed, yeah, for our listeners across BBC, Radio Lancashire who are just joining us, the players shaking hands and DLS coming to the aid of Surrey. That's 6 in the end, just pushing Surrey ahead of the required rate to win the game by a very, very small margin. 2-run victory via DLS for Surrey. So it's actually 3 defeats on the spin. Faith Florence, who's alongside myself here in the commentary box, here at Emirates Old Trafford for Lancashire Thunder. But this game, unlike the previous 2, they were well beaten against Hampshire and they were outplayed in the end by a very good run chase by the Blaze. This one could have gone either way, couldn't it, really?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and I think with Surrey winning the toss, that was always slightly in their favour. Put the balance of the game in their favour to start with, so perhaps Lancs were a little bit on the back foot from the start. However, it ebbed and flowed this game, and they did have a chance to pull it back, and it did look like it could be going that way. It was a really exciting contest. It's tough to lose on DLS in any kind of situation, in any game. So that will be tough for Thunder to take, but these games are coming thick and fast in this competition, and they'll be on the road. Both teams will have a game to play tomorrow. Thunder travelling down to Edgbaston, where they'll have a chance to finally get back into winning ways and get back on the board. So they'll have to shake this one off and just look forward to the next game.
Yep, Thunder in action at midday tomorrow at Edgbaston against the Bears. Lancashire Lightning are in action here tomorrow in the men's Blast fixture. 1 o'clock start against the Northamptonshire Steelbacks is your next live cricket across BBC, Radio Lancashire and on Lancs TV. But it's a DLS victory for Surrey women. They've beaten Lancashire Thunder by 2 runs.